no deficits.
8,000 gold. You guys were behind and you still turned that game around. And I'm here to ask the man himself, Jankos. Well, the man himself would be Odoamne because he definitely won you guys that game. But honestly, Jankos, how did you guys turn it around?
I honestly don't know. I think Misfits just played not that well from being, when they were ahead, and then we kind of played our stall game well. And since both drafts we had better scaling, we just like holding on to that. And then even though we were losing, we would still look for those picks, And one time we dive bot and it doesn't work and we die again. And then we tried to 2v2 top and we die again. And for like 20 minutes we fail everything. But we have one good play where me and Fabi catch Power of Evil. And then, they lose the whole team fight because of it. And then they started panicking super hard in the second game. Like, you could feel they are shaking their chair, We are like, look, guys, they're panicking. And you could feel them like, like they didn't know what to do. They would like start Nashor. I think Maxwell is not really confident in his smite, so they wouldn't ever go for the 50-50 and stuff like this. So I think we played well overall, but I think against team like G2 or against team like Fnatic or against team like UL, we'll probably lose with that gold deficit.
That gold, yeah, I mean, you should.
There's a lot to digest there. We're going to go piece by piece through the game. Unfortunately, before we get to the comeback, we do kind of want to look a little bit at the early game. So sorry, Jankos, you have to bear with us for a few minutes while we look at our first replay. This was the first 2 kills that go over to Power of Evil. Similar to game 1, Yamato, looking at this one, like, is this affordable to be able to give over such a strong lead to Illusion this early on?
Well, in this case, like Fabiven is playing a matchup that is very, very hard in the early game. Also, they have Elise, so it is expected that H2K is going to be behind in the early game, but it's important to be able to cut your losses. You're supposed to give out that one wave and just recall and accept the loss, but give out 2 kills here, man. What happened?
I mean, I was trying to help him, but then, I see Spider flashing on me with like the white thing, and then I just can't do anything. But I was trolling very hard, so it's my bad as well.
It is very, very rough. But I agree wholeheartedly. You guys outscaled them very, very heavily. But with their composition, you're supposed to lose early. But I think something you guys could have looked for was maybe potentially a swap from bottom, because you were, in fact, getting a push into bottom.
I think we could have swapped, but the thing is, if we swap and they have Rumble, if they can like kind of clear our wave with the ultimate, it's tough. If Odo can all-in at the same time as we swap, and then maybe Rumble will press his R for no reason, maybe we can actually get something off. But since there was Infernal up, we didn't want to give it up. And, when they swapped, we actually got the Infernal, and we stick to this game with, like, guys, we have Infernal, next is Windrake, it's nice, just 12 minutes, you can farm.
It's very understandable. I think it's just a game of cutting your losses all across the board.
And wanting to get Gromp.
Oh dear.
Yeah, let's take a look.
I think oh dear is how you sum it up. Jankos, we want to ask you, this is another fight. I'm sorry, we're not getting to the turning point yet. This is the fight over Gromp.
You guys go back for 1 second.
Gromp this hard?
No, I mean, I think I just underestimate Ignar a little bit. I thought maybe he wouldn't go in because it's only power here, but since they have such a high CC chain, I cannot really be overextending here, and it's totally my bad that we all die here, so I take the blame on myself. I do think, though, that we didn't have to die. We could have, like Yamato said, cut our losses, back out, use Bramble faster. This is, the catch we were looking for as well. It failed, A lot of those catches failed, but
so the call was, we want to fight, we want to fight, we want to fight.
No, the call is, we try to catch them, otherwise the game is lost. But, but
now,
what happened is that,
here it comes.
no, I mean, we never said the game is lost, but we always say we outscale guys, but we can still catch if they face check, and we tried, and it didn't work out. But you see, it's important to play to win and not play to not lose, because if you play not to lose, you will never win.
Do you feel that versus Unicorns of Love and Fnatic, you played not to lose?
Hey, come on.
No, it's an honest question. Did you have a different mindset in those games?
I believe against UL, the games were very even, and we were playing to win. Against Fnatic, though, I think we played really passively for some reason. We always had pressure from our picks, but we never managed to get a lead, never dive bot lane, never go deep in enemy jungle. So I think every one of us played worse in Fnatic series, and I think every one of us could have done way, way more, especially me and Fabi having so much pressure in mid and jungle. But I believe if we can break the mental block, I would call it, against this team, we can do good against them. And I'm also looking forward to face G2 after Rift Rivals.
Definitely so. We do have to wrap up this series, and I think when you talk about a mental shift in this game. You proved that you can turn around a huge gold deficit, and you finally get the pick that you were asking for and hunting for the entire game. So
look at this guy. He doesn't flash Insta. He doesn't flash Insta, so he just gets caught. Look at him. He's trying to help, but like there's nothing he doesn't go.
But it looks like good, and then you're like, oh no. Oh no, they're gonna all die.
No, I mean, I think if their duo bot lane would move a bit faster from mid, we could actually get like killed, destroyed. But since, you know, Odo mashed the TP and our duo bot lane is kind of at the same time, and also they can't really focus Odwamne, and Xayah just came to the fight. So for this whole time, they didn't have damage, because after Lucian dies, there is no threat. Rumble ult was like missed kinda, and then Elise did her whole combo. So after this, Odwamne and Ash can clean up. We played it slow, we played it collective, you know, we wait for the CC chain. Xayah flashes in, he's being cocky, we change CC, we kill, Odo gets the kills, then he screams, I will be really fed this game, then we are all happy, and then we say, holy moly, Infernal is up, let's go, and then we are like, okay, this game is won, and they will panic.
For sure, the game was won after that quarter kill, because no one can really stop Camille on side, 2 Infernal, but in this fight, I think if the only way Hans Sama could die there was if he was CC chained, but he went for the aggressive ultimate, aggressive flash. In theory, he shouldn't be CC'd at all if he just saves his abilities and walk forward with the Ignite W aggressively.
Exactly.
Exactly, and this is nice because you guys are actually ex-teammates here together on the desk. Yamato actually really wanted to speak to you and is enjoying.
I've missed you, man.
How is it?
You never accept my invitations to lunch.
Oh, I mean, I met someone.
It's probably. Can you remind the viewers when you guys were together? 2015?
2015. Rocket. The last time we played was that best of 5 against Origin.
Oh, it was close.
That final game was not close.
Oh, yeah. But they went to semi-finals. After we 2-3, we lost.
So we were like the 6th best team in the world.
Yeah, accelerators.
On paper.
Accelerators, I would say. So, Jankos, Yamato Cannon got to judge your play. So now we're going to take a look at Yamato Cannon's play from his team from this morning, actually a couple of hours ago. Vitality and Roccat going at it in a very close fight earlier today. I don't know how much of this you've seen, Jankos, but...
Well, I didn't have opportunity to see the first game, but I knew Nukeduck could play Kog'Maw. And I also knew that, you know, if they do it, they will outscale no matter what. So as you can see, Nukeduck is just kind of 1v9ing the fight. He's playing really aggressive. I think Nukeduck is a really good player if he can get comfortable. I think if Nukeduck is not comfortable, he will kind of not go for so many plays. But if he can, you know, have this win condition, like going for late game, being fed. I remember him from Roca 2015 as well, where he would always call to leave up every Drake, and that's how we would lose every game. I know, I'm just... Yeah. I mean, maybe it was like this, maybe not. We are just all bad, to be honest, before Yamato came and saved us. So I think, yeah, basically Nukeduck had late game scaling chain and he just played perfectly. And this is, one of the games where, I mean, leaving Tamken, Shen, and Corki in the same comp and then playing early game against it and still losing the early game is probably not something you want to do.
Yeah. It's rough. And we were talking a lot before your series when we were catching up with Yamato Cannon, a little bit about how the improvements of Vitality actually have come to play. And it was more about that unity as a team, the Tahm Kench, the Shen that you were talking about. Like, those Tahm Kench plays are what we were seeing H2K with Che do on the Tahm Kench a whole bunch. That's why it's now banned against you guys all the time. So I'm glad to see that Vitality is starting to work out on more than just like, oh, does Nukeduck carry or not? So
yeah, it's starting to click for Yamato's team.
Yeah, it's starting to click, but as we remember, H2K against Vitality, Che totally outclassed Vander. He just totally smacked him. I mean, I didn't even see enemy support in that game. I just knew it's like my friend somewhere there, you know?
Your
but like,
it doesn't really sound like it. You're going in.
Holy moly, that's...
Friendly banter. I know how it is. You know, it's allowed. It's allowed. But yeah, it's been going well. It's been clicking well for Yamato. And
on the other side, Roccat though, a little bit disappointing. Yeah, a little underwhelming. They picked early game, had like a small lead in a lot of lanes, and then just didn't seem to know how to close out the game.
This is team that beat Fnatic, by the way.
Right, and that I think is something we were talking about, is the fact that Fnatic completely underestimated Roccat.
Why is that so funny?
No, it's funny because they lost against the G2 with the 3 subs coming from a vacation as well. Like, Roccat is a big question mark, but I think it's very obvious when you look at Roccat, they have specific comfort. Faxion, Nar, you have the Swain Vladimir thing going on in mid lane, and when today there was a lot of picks I expect a different team would pick, like Caitlyn and Kennen, but I was thinking like Roccat have never showed this. Yeah. Then when they played this today, it really showed that they really don't know how to execute these picks. I think Yaron needs to play like a CC AD carry. That's where he's useful. But Kate is all about just pushing forward and using your momentum.
The mind of grabs. He's just trying to play some different things to get used to,
and
throw the competition off. I can see that. Well, let's take a look at the standings after our second day here in week number 5. Obviously, H2K picking up some points there in Group B. Yay, Jankos. Woo!
Oh, we are lucky. I'm really wondering who is Unicorns facing tomorrow. Is it G2?
No, it's not G2.
It is.
Can someone
Is it NIP?
I think it's NIP.
I think it's
must
NIP.
be the Ninjas and
NIP? Oh, that's not good for us.
Well, that is not good for you guys. Well, at least you're in the top half.
You face
right?
them later now. Why is it?
I mean, it's not bad. It's just that every time we face them, we always lose. And then every time we face Splice, it's free win. And it's kind of awkward, you know, because like Splice is doing well in our group right now. I believe they even won versus Unicorns.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when we played Splice, we kind of stomped them. And then last time in, you know, Spring Split, our last match didn't really matter. So we were just playing some team top and stuff. Yeah, I remember the draft, bro.
I want to remind you of something. You remember that best of 5 H2K versus Splice? I just want to make sure that when you use the word as every time, you have to be able to back it
open
up.
5 games. Wonder Man.
Well, true that, but I also want to keep in mind that, you know, last year when you guys were... no, actually, you went to World Finals as the 3rd seed. You bet Unicorns of Love, so yeah. But you kind of drop out quickly, but...
Yeah,
like
but
all
of course,
the
look at our group.
well.
If you were in your group, we would also go through. I promise you that.
You promise me that?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I keep your word.
You might.
Maybe this year.
I was going to say maybe this year, but I don't see Vitality necessarily... I mean, making it to Worlds, and I don't really think that's an insult. Like, it's
No,
the first split with your, or like the first time with the team.
Let's be honest, right? It's a long-term process. Vitality from previous split obviously had a lot to work on. I'm happy with the progression that we're making. You know, I'm not saying, oh, let's go Worlds, let's beat SKT, let's do this.
Oh,
no.
is that Maxler you're
like Misfits,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I'm happy with where we are.
Yeah, and it's going better. So in general, Jankos, which team has surprised you so far this split in a positive way?
In a positive way.
Yes, I know it's difficult, but
in a positive way. That is a hard one. I thought Splice would do way worse without Yamato. I thought he's like more important. I thought, you know, Splice would kind of collapse without like his coaching, since when he came to the team, he made the team strong, and then, you know, they were always with him, and then after he left, I thought they would collapse. But it seems like they are a really strong team right now, and they are in top 3 of our group. So I'm kind of surprised that, you know, even after the first week where they look kind of shaky, you know, second week they picked up and they are getting stronger and stronger.
You could see it differently. He just instilled a great base into them that they still retained and are now trying to take it to the next level with Jivas, their new coach.
Yeah, I think Jivas came off of winning the Brazilian split. So it's like, this is not a random guy, right? So obviously they're going to do good. But I think the series yesterday was depicting some of the problems we had in the spring split, where against the better teams, it looks very lackluster. Good things are shown, and then Trashy gets caught, and the enemy team gets Baron.
Oh, is it like personal hate?
No.
I mean, I got caught today, and we lost Nash as well. But you know,
you
my
still
team,
won, right?
Yeah,
we still won. So it's like not a big deal.
Let me clarify. I don't want to just bash Trashy. It was just sometimes something slightly goes wrong because of this inactivity, and this was a common occurrence in Spring Split as well. But I agree that Splice. The summer split Splice is looking great in this summer split too.
I think the interesting thing is that they have brought a different style as well. It's not just the 1-3-1 that we've seen every single game now to Splice. It wasn't successful yesterday, unfortunately, but still in that game against the Unicorns, they actually team fought the Unicorns and looked good doing it. So it's interesting to see these teams adding a different dynamic, because Misfits kind of just tried to add a 1-3-1 setup and they clearly didn't look comfortable in the late game.
Yeah, for a top team in Group A in the Misfits, that actually surprised me that 2 games in a row, they throw away such a big lead.
And no, I think it's us. Come on. The one problem we have right now is that every time we face a better team, like for example Splice did, every time we face the top 3, which I would say is G2, Fnatic, and UL, probably Fnatic in the front right now, every time we lose, you know. And as we know, top 3 is going to World Finals, not top 4. So being 4th sucks, you know. It's useless. We are dogs, kind of. So I really hope we can step up our game and, you know, break with like Iron Fist into this top 3 and make it shaky for them. Maybe go to World Finals.
Through the gauntlet also.
Eat some Korean barbecue in Korea. It's really fun.
I feel like it's not just H2K just on the Misfits point at the end. I feel like legitimately though Misfits didn't feel comfortable closing those games out. I think that's something that's going to take a couple of weeks if they continue to play this style where they want Power of Evil to play the side lane. He has to be comfortable enough to go to the right lane, push his advantage in the right way, and then not get caught under tower and throw the game away.
Let's just not play that way, maybe.
Well, that's what I mean. Is if it's going to take that long, you're on the road to Worlds.
Yeah, exactly. So the other thing in the standings that we always speak about that I'd love to hear Jankos and Yamato Cannon's opinion on is G2. Slump, yay or nay? What are we seeing here? Is it a weaker G2 or is it still a slump for you guys?
I think it's hard to imagine them coming out of it in the same stride as before. I think a lot of teams have improved. And G2, I think this bubble has bursted, this bubble that, oh, G2 is unbeatable. They always kept winning these games that they lost early game heavily, and then they just came back because there was this mental block for every team. But right now, you know, every team can feel, oh, this team beat G2, we can do that too. So it's possible. Eh?
Yeah, it's kind of a mental effect on the other teams as well. Like, well, hey, we can get those wins too. If that team can, surely they're not unbeatable. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree, but I still think G2 will probably bounce back. I don't know if they will be as strong. I feel like after MSI and World Finals, maybe they feel like they were so good already, and it's hard to get motivation when, you know, you were the best and you are always the best, the kings of Europe, right? Self-proclaimed. And then...
well, who else were
actually, true. Okay, they were the best team for like straight up 2 years. Okay, I agree. My bad.
Like, I would
First Blood Kings, so?
But to be honest, right now they are not playing that well. I think after Rift Rivals, though, playing against us, I think they'll already be way stronger than right now. And maybe already after Rift Rivals, we can see some Fnatic against, you know, the best NA team, or against G2 if it's possible. I'm not sure if it's possible. Yeah.
It's also important to keep in mind, this was a team that played the finals at MSI, right? The break they had was very, very small. So I think it's understandable if they take like a resting period throughout the split, if they play a bit less. I think this is completely acceptable.
It definitely is acceptable, but we're week 5.
Right. That's the problem for me, is we're now week 5, heading into Rift Rivals. They don't get a break on that week either, like some of the other teams.
On them.
The stat that is the most damning for G2 is G2's full roster has the same win-loss record as their substitute roster from week 1. 1 series. That is damning for the team that has won back-to-back splits for the last 3 splits. And they can't get it together for week 6. They need to fix this.
Yeah, I can't help but giggle just because we all have this premonition of they're going to bounce back anyway, you know? And I find it hard to kind of shake that idea because of the legacy they've built up and also is what we owe them, to be honest, because of what they've built up.
But let's be honest, can we imagine a world where G2 doesn't go to playoffs?
No.
It's impossible, right?
No.
So they have a lot of time. They have a bunch of time. What is it, 8 weeks until playoffs start?
But I can imagine a world where G2 don't get a semifinals bye. And that would be a big thing.
I don't think that really matters. I think, you know, playoffs game matter, right? Sure. But from being 6th or like 3rd in your group, you can still be the best. So I don't think they really care, you know, as long as they can bounce back until playoffs and they can show strong performance in playoffs and, you know, they can still be the best. If not, you know, someone would be in the way, for example.
Do they have to be the best, though? Like, would it, in one world, maybe not be better for them just to qualify for Worlds on points, not having to play that final kind of, I don't know. Like a different scenario. You know? A different scenario than...
I think getting first place is always nice.
Yeah, of course, it's always nice.
I
but,
can imagine.
In Paris, you know, the arena, I mean, it looks really cool, right?
What?
Yeah.
The Paris arena.
Parties? Oh.
Parties, yeah. Parties, yeah. Come on.
Paris, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it does. It looks amazing to fill that up. And it is 6 weeks that they have now. And, you know, you might just imagine a scenario in which they don't do well at Rift Rivals, completely bomb out, then that mental is going down again, and then they need to come back and face H2K, and then, you know, then it could go.
The people that are profiting from G2 not showing up the most are Fnatic right now. Yep. As an organization and as a League of Legends team. Like, they are right in Cloud9 at this point. I guess that
you know what I'm hoping
next week.
What?
I'm hoping that G2 doesn't bounce them back in time for us to play them. That's what I'm hoping for, you know?
That's what everyone's saying.
That's why I'm...
Let me get that cheeky G2 win in. Come on.
Why are we playing them? What is it, week 7? Damn.
Well, we'll see. There's another team that is hoping that Mysterious Monkeys, because they face off versus G2 tomorrow, followed up by the Unicorns of Love versus the Ninjas in Pajamas. Looks like a pretty straightforward day, doesn't it?
I do believe so. I do think, though, that right now, Mysterious Monkeys with Kikis and Amazing looks so much stronger. I mean, their bot lane and their mid lane are still a little bit shaky. Right, their bot lane is ending some games. But with Amazing and Kikis, I was really surprised in like how much better they looked in the matter of like 1 week or like 3 days, right? So I'm really curious how they will look like, you know, in a couple of weeks.
And
maybe they will steal vitality spot from the 4th one if you guys don't step up better.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. And then NIP, there is no hope. I think they will lose against you all.
Yeah, they might. This is very
for
tough
this series, obviously.
Yeah, it's a very tough matchup for them indeed. Well, we will see. Super interesting there. Thank you guys both for joining me here on the desk today. Congratulations. 4-0 day for these guys. Time for us to log off for the night. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back here tomorrow for more action in the EULCS. Have a fantastic night.